You're watching Tag TV. You're watching Tag TV.
Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that talks about breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. TTP bombs historical shrine in Lahore, several people reported dead. Taliban terrorists launched deadly suicide attack in Kabul amidst ongoing peace talks in Qatar. Further Islamist militant attacks cannot be ruled out, warns Sri Lanka. United Nations launches UN Countering Terrorism travel program to combat terrorism. And Pakistan turns into fertile ground for IS expansion, says US Army veteran. Pakistan's Lahore city came at the targets of a Pakistan-based terrorist group just one day following the onset of Ramadan. The city got jolted with a high-intensity bomb blast that went off at a police checkpoint near the Data Darbar, one of the largest Muslim shrines in South Asia. Since Pakistan is a hub of terror activities in South Asian region, therefore its civilians barely get to live a stable life. Pakistan's instability is a result of the dynamic chemistry shared between Pakistan's deep state and civil terror organizations who have found safe haven in the country. Lahore bomb blast is a result of Islamabad's self-created pro-terror destiny, as it has been carried out by Hizbul Ahrar, a splinter group of the Pakistani Taliban, which is the same terror group whose terrorists reside in Pakistan and hatch deadly terror plans to create havoc in South Asia. I report. Terrorism revisited Lahore this week when a suicide bomber blew himself up near a police van at a gate of Data Darbar, leaving 10 people dead and 25 others wounded. The suicide terror attack occurred near the entrance gate for women visitors to Data Darbar and targeted the police vehicle parked outside the shrine.
ये जो हमारी दाता दरबार की गेट नंबर 2 के पास जो एलीट की गाड़ी थी उस पे ये वाक़या हुआ है। इसमें 3 पुलिस के एहलकार हमारे शहीद हुए हैं, एक सिक्योरिटी गार्ड शहीद हुआ है और एक शहरी शहीद हुआ है। 5 लोग शहीद हो चुके हैं, 19 शहरी ज़ख्मी हैं और 4 पुलिस वाले भी ज़ख्मी हैं। तो 24 जो लोग हैं वो 23 लोग ज़ख्मी हैं और 5 लोग शहीद हो चुके हैं।
The attack was claimed by the Hizbul Ahrar, a splinter group of Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan that has been fighting the government for years. The group came to prominence after it claimed responsibility for the 2014 Wagha border suicide attack that left 60 people dead.
This Jamaat-ul-Ahrar came into prominence when they took the responsibility of the Wagha border bombing in 2014. This organization is basically, again, it is a loosely knit organization functioning on the same lines as Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, and they keep merging and demerging again and again. In 2015, this organization went back and merged back with Tehrik-e-Taliban. So basically, if you draw lines on it, there are no lines per se. But yes, the Security Council under the Committee 1267 have banned this organization and taken it to be a terrorist organization and totally banned it in the world.
Sufis who follow a mystical form of Islam that has been practiced in South Asia for centuries have been regularly attacked by hardline Sunni Muslim militants in the past. In 2010, 2 suicide bombers had struck the Data Darbar shrine, killing 42 people and wounding 175 in an attack which was carried out by Pakistan Taliban.
The basic fight is between the Sunnis and the Sufis, and it is the same way that was as the Catholics and the Protestants in Christianity. Whenever the Sunnis, wherever they get the chance, they attack the Sufis because this hatred is there in them, because this dates back to the prehistoric, after the Prophet, when his Hussein, his son Hussein and all were killed by the people, and Hussein was denied water, denied everything and all, and this martyrdom of Hussein is celebrated by the Sufis as their day, as the martyrdom day.
The shelter provided by Islamabad to the agents of mass destruction has eventually led to the self-destruction of Pakistan. Terrorist organizations like Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan have brought mass destruction to Pakistan in the year 2018. Last year, as many as 171 attacks were perpetrated by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and its splinter groups like Jamaat-ul-Ahrar and Hizb-ul-Ahrar that killed 449 people. As the phrase goes, as you sow, so shall you reap. Pakistan today remains a hotbed of this plague called terrorism with no end in sight. Pakistan's bid to discuss peace strategies is in complete contradiction with its internal stability. The government of Pakistan has proved itself to be highly incompetent in handling its internal security, yet it brazenly points fingers towards other countries and their internal peace affairs. Taliban fighters mounted a deadly attack at the Kabul offices of a US-based aid organization they said promoted Western values. The blast comes only 2 weeks after armed men targeted the communications ministry in central Kabul, killing at least 7 people. Representatives of the US and Taliban continue their negotiations in Qatar, while the assaults are likely to amplify concerns about the insurgents' commitment to human rights gains as part of any deal to end of the nearly 18-year Afghan war. A report.
A few days after Loya Jirga, a consultative Grand Assembly which concluded on an optimistic note of peace settlement between Taliban armed groups and Afghanistan, an explosion rocked the capital city Kabul, again putting the peace process in question. This time, Taliban suicide bombers attacked offices of an international non-government organization, Counterpart International, in Kabul, setting off a huge explosion that killed 4 and injured more than 25 people in the capital city. The attackers used a car bomb blast to invade the compound of the international aid group and exchanged sporadic gunfire with Afghan security forces.
موسسه خیریه کانترپارت بوده، حدود 150 نفر توسط نیروهای امنیتی نجات داده شد. اکنون هم منزل اول این موسسه خیریه پاکسازی شده، عملیات جریان داره.
انفجار شد، خاکباد شد، چرا آمد، مسجد چرا زد، پارک چرا زد، پشت سر از دیگه انفجار شد، باز خاکباد شد. دیگه تا نیروهای امنیتی آمدن اگر انفجارات کم شد.
In about 1 week, Taliban militants have perpetrated a number of attacks in different regions of Afghanistan. In the northern city of Pul-e-Khurmi, a suicide bomber blew an explosives-laden car near police headquarters, killing at least 13 people.
تعمیری نوکری والی قماندانی بودم که همون طرف تراول میرفتم که انفجار شد. بازگشت کردم در اجرای مسجد اونجا پنهان شدیم. یکمک وضعیت که خوب شد.
The Taliban, which is seeking to restore a strict Islamic rule, are up against the US troops and Afghanistan security forces. They have been constantly targeting government buildings and installations where security personnel are present more in number. President Ashraf Ghani had earlier offered a ceasefire from the first day of Ramadan, which was soon refused by the Taliban armed groups. The recent Taliban militant attacks on Afghan security forces is a clear signal about the state of peace process even after Taliban leadership met with American negotiators last week in 6th round of peace talks in Doha, Qatar.
Easter Sunday attack in Sri Lanka has raised major concerns about growing terror network in Sri Lanka. According to the investigations of the serial bombings, the ever-expanding cobweb of terrorism can lead to more terror attacks in Sri Lanka. Even though the Islamic State has claimed the responsibility of the attack, Sri Lankan authorities have busted a larger network of terrorists operating in the country that also includes several terrorist groups operating at local level. With an aim to avert further terrorist attacks in the country, Sri Lankan Prime Minister is planning to introduce new anti-terrorism law in the country. We have a report.
Post-Easter Sunday attacks in Sri Lanka, the alert security forces are not ruling out any chances of further Islamist attacks in the country. Investigators have claimed to have dismantled a major part of the network linked to the dastardly attack that took more than 250 lives. Although Islamic State had claimed the responsibility of the attack, Sri Lankan authorities have rigged up a larger network of terrorists operating in the country that includes small terrorist groups also. Sri Lankan Prime Minister, giving a progress report of government's major strides in capturing the plotters of April 21 bombings, also shared his plan of introducing new anti-terrorism law in the country.
මේ වන විට රටේ ආරක්ෂා තත්ත්වය යහපත් තලයකට ගෙන එන්නට ආරක්ෂාංශ සමත් වෙලා තිබෙනවා. පාස්කු ඉරිදා ප්‍රහාරයට ඍජුවම සම්බන්ධ දැනට ජීවතුන් අතර සිටින සියලු දෙනා පාහේ නීතිය රැහැනට කොටු කර ගන්නට සමත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැන්ට ඉතිරි වී තිබෙන්නේ ප්‍රහාරකයන් සමග සමීප සබඳතා පැවැත් වූ පුද්ගලයන් සම්බන්ධව විමර්ශනය කොට ඔවුන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමයි. තරාතිරම නොබලා ඔවුන්ට එරෙහි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට රජයක් විදියට අපි අවශ්‍ය උපදෙස් ලබා දී තිබෙනවා.
Investigators from 8 countries, including the US Federal Bureau of Investigation and Interpol, are helping Sri Lanka cracking the terrorist network.
නමුත් මම අවස්ථා ගණනාවේ සඳහන් කර අන්දමට මෙහෙම අනතුරු සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම පහවී ගොස් නැති බව අපි සියලු දෙනාම මතක තියාගත යුතුයි. මොකද අපි අදත් ගොදුරු වී ඇත්තේ ගෝලීය ත්‍රස්තවාදයට. ඒ ව්‍යාපාර ලංකාවේ සිට සම්බන්ධ වූ සියලු දෙනා අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තත් වෙනත් ආකාර ගණනාවකින් ඒ ත්‍රස්තවාදය ලංකාවට අතපොවන්නට ඉඩ තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ගෝලීය ත්‍රස්තවාදය පරාජය කිරීමට ජාත්‍යන්තර වශයෙන් සියලු රටවල් එකට එක්විය යුතුයි. බොද්ධි තොරතුරා තාක්ෂණය හුවමාරු කරගත යුතුයි. මෙම ත්‍රස්තවාදය පරාජය කිරීමට අපිට විශාල අභියෝගයක්. මේ සඳහා පවතින නීති රාමුවක් ශක්තිමත් කළ යුතුයි.
The country, in a run-up to presidential election by the year end, have both its premier and president claiming to eradicate terrorism from the country. President Maithripala Sirisena, following the devastating suicide attacks of Easter Sunday, vowed to restore stability before presidential elections due this year.
ඉලෙක්ෂන් එක පවත්වන්න ඕනේනේ අපි. ඒක අනුකූල අවස්ථාව තුල ඉලෙක්ෂන් එක පවත්වන්න ඕනේ. මැතිවරණ කල් දාන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මැතිවරණයට මම ඒකයි කිව්වේ කලින් මම රට සාමකාමී කරනවා. ත්‍රස්තවාදය අවසන් කරනවා.
Sri Lankan president giving details on global rise of Islamic State terrorism in South Asian countries also brought to light that the Islamic State has been building terrorist networks in the country since last 15 years.
මේ ත්‍රස්ත ප්‍රහාරය රටේ ආර්ථිකයට විශාල බලපෑමක් ඇති කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයටත් බලපෑමක් ඇති කරලා තිබෙනවා. ආර්ථිකය වඩාත් ගොඩනැගීමේදී වැදගත් වෙනවා සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය නැවත තිබුණු තැනට ගන්න. ඒ නැවත තිබුණු තැනට ගැනීමේදී රටට එන සංචාරකින්ට ආරක්ෂාව අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. දැන් රට සාමාන්‍ය තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ අනුව සංචාරකයන්ට එන්න පුළුවන් විදේශීය සංචාරකයන්ට අපි සම්පූර්ණ ආරක්ෂාව දෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඒ අය පිළිබඳව අපි වගකීමකින් කටයුතු කරනවා. මෙහිදී ආර්ථිකය ගොඩනැගීමේ කාර්යයේදී මූලික වශයෙන්ම රට සාමය රටේ ස්ථාවර වීම තමයි අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ. රටේ ජනතාවට බියක් සැකක් තොරව ජීවත් වීමේ පරිසරයක් තිබෙනවා නම් සාමාන්‍ය දෛනික කටයුතු කරනවා. සංවර්ධන කාර්යයන් කරනවා, රාජ්‍ය සේවය වැඩ කරනවා, පෞද්ගලික අංශේ වැඩ කරනවා. ඒ තුල පුළුවන්කම තිබෙනවා ආර්ථිකය යථා තත්ත්වයට ගන්න. අනිත් එක අපිට විදේශ ආධාරත් යම් ප්‍රමාණයකට ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබෙනවා මේ ඇතිවෙච්ච තත්ත්වය ගැන පැහැදිලි කරලා. ඒ නිසා අපිට සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයේ ශක්තිමත් කිරීම ඉතාමත් වැදගත්. මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මම අමාත්‍යවරුන්ගෙන් කැබිනට් අනුකාරක සභාවක් පත් කරලා සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය ශක්තිමත් කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය සියලුම කටයුතු කරන්න එයට උදෙස් දීලා තිබෙනවා.
The Easter Sunday attack was a grim reminder that how the South Asian region is rapidly turning into a terror hotbed, with Pakistan being the chief perpetrator in abetting Islamic State terrorist organization and other small offshoots.
Introducing a new set of plans to tackle terrorism, the United Nations Office of Counter-Terrorism launched a new travel program that would allow countries to identify and restrict the terrorists traveling from one country to another. The new travel program represents a kind of cooperative, intergovernmental and institutional approach that would establish the Global Counter-Terrorism Coordination Compact to enhance counter-terrorism coordination and coherence across the system. While launching the program, the United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres also appreciated India for its efforts at the UN to combat terrorism. A report.
The United Nations Office of Counter-Terrorism launched the UN Countering Terrorist Travel Program this week, funded by India, Japan, the Netherlands, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. While launching the Counter-Terrorism Travel Program, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres referred to the recent terror attacks in New Zealand and Sri Lanka to express concern over the spread of the scourge of terrorism, while warning about the dramatic movement of terrorists around the world.
Detecting and disrupting these terrorists and other high-risk criminals prior to them carrying out an attack is a high priority for the international community. The General Assembly and Security Council Resolution 2396 have reaffirmed the need to strengthen our international cooperation and information sharing to improve national detection capacities and prevent the travel of terrorists.
The UN Countering Terrorist Travel Program would help to strengthen international counter-terrorism cooperation, expand multilateral networks for sharing information to detect, identify, disrupt and prosecute terrorists, and to ensure that member states most affected by terrorism have the capacity to tackle this evolving threat around the world.
The program will help member states collect, process and share travel data with other competent national and international authorities, with full respect for privacy and other fundamental freedoms. We know that policies that fully respect human rights are essential in tackling violent extremism. This information sharing will enhance the abilities of member states to effectively detect, prevent, investigate and prosecute terrorist offences, including their related travel.
While addressing the UN General Assembly, Antonio Guterres appreciated the South Asian country India for its continued support to the world's body's counter-terrorism work, while asserting that the UN family is ready to assist in protecting and ensuring the rights of all victims whose interests are served by this project.
Well, Pakistan is under fire from all quarters as proofs of its consistent support to terrorism are surfacing faster than ever. Only a few days back, its brazen arrogance suffered a meltdown after its state guest Masood Azhar was listed a global terrorist by United Nations Security Council. The terror finance watchdog FATF might blacklist it soon. The countries it would boast of having deep ties with are now deserting it, fearing a collateral damage. Amid all this, some sensational words have emerged from a US Army veteran who says Pakistan is proving to be a fertile ground for the expansion of so-called Islamic State. A report.
Pakistan has been exposed for its state-sponsored terrorism on numerous occasions. This time, Lawrence Sellin, a United States Army veteran, has warned about the explosive potential of Islamic State influence in Pakistan. Expressing his views after the coordinated and sophisticated terrorist attacks on Easter Sunday in Sri Lanka, Lawrence Sellin, a retired US Army Reserve colonel, said that ISIS was originated in Pakistan and is now operating in Afghanistan.
Islamic State KP, that is Khorasan province, in short ISKP, was initially formed in Pakistan only, and its founder was Hafiz Said Khan, who was later killed in a strike. He was a leader of Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. He not only came himself to the ISIS, but also brought with him lot many fighters of the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, and the initial Shura, which was formed of ISKP, contained as much as 9 Pakistanis. So thereafter, they migrated towards north of the border and started operating from bases in Afghanistan close to the Afghan-Pakistan border. But they have their influence in the Af-Pak area, and particularly they are responsible for the cross-border raids into Pakistan. After the ISIS has lost Syria and Iraq, the focus of the ISIS leadership has now turned to a new caliphate called the Khorasan province. Khorasan province literally means Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Central Asia.
Exposing Pakistan on all fronts, the army veteran of US said, "It is the direct result of official Pakistani policy and the activities of Pakistan's ISI. The Islamization program initiated by former Pakistani President Muhammad Zia-ul-Haq in the late 1970s, which involved the proliferation of Islamic schools, madrasas, and the promotion of Islamic law, Sharia, was specifically designed to create national unity by suppressing ethnic separatism and religious diversity. Not surprisingly, radical groups have proliferated in Pakistan and are becoming increasingly more extreme and intolerant."
Pakistan does not realize that once these radicalized jihadis become terrorists, they have no religion, they have no faith, they have no nationalism. They only work blindly for the sole objective for which they have been brainwashed. So therefore, the jihadis and the terrorists getting out of control of the government or of its agencies is quite common, and that is what is happening in Pakistan.
Defeat in Syria triggered a lot of Islamic State fighters to either return to their native lands or to targets of opportunities such as the thriving extremist network in South Asia. Various reports suggest that the member of Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan began migrating to Afghanistan's Nangarhar region as refugees from Pakistan, but later the members of the same group formed the foundation of the Islamic State. The base support to the Islamic State was augmented by thousands of Pakistanis who fought for the Islamic State in Syria. Today, several Pakistan-backed terrorists have pledged their allegiance with ISIS and have been perpetrating barbaric atrocities on civilians living in South Asia, Syria, and the West. The terror group's motivation comes from the ideas of radical Islamic terrorism, which is posing grave threat to the humanity all across the world.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We'll be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Chandrakala Chaudhary signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.